Welcome. Welcome to the HumanPerimeter. This is the first episode of our current podcast where we talk about cybersecurity as a human right. So we have different perspectives on anything cybersecurity related. So you have on the one hand, we look at the technical perspective, which is what Simon usually does.
Yeah.
And I personally look at the psychology of the human side of the cybersecurity threats. And today we are talking about the 25 million call that never happened, which is, you might have seen that on the news, that is a deepfake CFO who tricked the British design firm Arup, who stands behind the Sydney Opera House, in a 25 million scam. And we'll talk about that in more detail. And you will see that in the beginning, it has almost been dismissed. It sharply did not happen, but actually it did. And it cost the company 25 million. So with me again is Simon. Hi, Simon.
Hi, André, and hello, everyone, and thank you for joining if you are watching live or if you are listening to your favorite podcast. I think this first episode, 25 million call that never happened, will be really good. And we try to break it down so you can understand what exactly happened, how it happened, and how you can protect yourself, your business, or even your family members. Because at the end of episode, there will be some things that you can do right now to protect yourself and your beloved ones. So, yeah, you already heard what's on perimeter today, and how should we then start talking about? Should we break it down first from the technical standpoint or from your point of view, Andre? How you want to go about it?
It's a good question. I think that especially this case is not a purely technical one, because in the end, nothing has been broken, nothing has been hacked, nothing has been insecure.
Human have been hacked.
Huh?
The human have been hacked. And
the human have been, yeah, but it's not from a technical perspective. And if
true.
humans get hacked, then it usually starts with a phishing email.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this has happened here as well.
Yes.
So usually, I mean, I was working in the financial industry, so I need to tell a short story from the beginning. I was working in the financial industry, especially in compliance, and I had to deal with security officers all the time. And they also tried to test employees with phishing mails. So many people think, should not happen to me. And it is quite tricky to test real phishing mails, because if you send a phishing mail from inside, then it's usually quite simple to detect.
Yep.
Many companies have this banner in their emails, especially if they use Outlook or Exchange servers. Then it shows this email comes from an external sender. So this is something that should alarm you. In this special case, the problem is that it has not been recorded. There is no public version of how the video really looked like. But you have to picture this. You are the employee, and you receive an email, and you are invited to a call with the CFO and a couple of executives who also should join this call. And the employee initially received a suspicious email from someone claiming to be the firm's UK-based CFO, requesting a confidential transaction. This is something that should alarm you. And usually, in this case, it also alarmed this certain employee. He was actually skeptical. This wasn't a reckless employee, but a cautious one.
Yeah.
And he was close to dismissing it as a phishing scam, but he didn't. Question is why?
Yeah, there's a great question. Why? So there can be many reasons why, and it's all about the human factor. Yes, he was skeptical, etc., etc. And also similar happened something when I was training one company in Turkey, and they know they will be trained for the security best practices. They know I will try to launch a phishing campaigns against them. But when it comes to that day, I set up the schedule to send out email to all employees, this phishing email, and I was talking about it in the training room, and four people out of 9 they clicked the phishing link. And first who clicked it was the CEO of the company. And I asked the same question, why did he click when he knows what it can be? And what I just did, I add one I in my name, like Simon with 2 I's at my company email. And also I send him message from a different WhatsApp number that he never got. So I got the same question, why? And I asked him, and he just told me he thought it's okay. He saw my name, he saw my domain, those kind of things. And other 3 employees follow. So that was quite interesting, because I was thinking or believed that they won't click this email. But they clicked it. All data that would be gone was live on the presentation screen, so they can see their IP address, devices, locations, hashed cookies, etc., etc. So you know what could happen. They could steal the login session, the password, etc., and it could be used against them to blackmail them. So yeah.
Actually, I also clicked one of those phishing mails.
Really?
Yeah, it was not a real phishing mail. It was one of these phishing mails the security officers in the bank sent out. And I was quite new at that time, and I received an email where it says, "This is please find attached the document that has been scanned," something like that.
Yeah.
And the reason why I clicked that was I was expecting precisely that email. And I was already curious whether this is an external or an internal mail, because it looked quite strange to me. But as I just mentioned in the beginning, this company had also the information on each email, whether the email comes from inside or from external. And this one didn't have the external banner. And if I checked it, it came from an internal employee, from an internal workspace.
Yeah.
So I clicked it. And if you open that attachment, then you get a welcome information, a welcome screen from the security officer, from the security department, and they told me that I clicked a suspicious email and this was wrong. It was bad behavior, and it has been tracked. So I'm usually not the one who accepts that first, because I started discussing with them, because they sent the email from an internal workspace and not from an external one, which then would have gotten this red banner which said this comes from an external source, right? But it didn't work. So it didn't help, because they do not want to understand. It was too difficult for them to send an email from outside and set that up. And they didn't want to do that. That was problematic, because if employees are trained on this behavior, then it can't be improved, right?
Yeah.
So that's problematic. But that's the only one I clicked on one of those links. It was intentional at that time.
You learned your lesson, right?
No, I learned my lesson way before that, when I used a test server on the internet at the time when firewalls were not that state of the art, and it was more optional than it was mandatory as it is today. And I had my port 25 open, which has been then used by a spammer to send out spam emails via my server. And then I had
I
a
see.
tough discussion with my internet provider because I was circulating spam. And we tracked that down to the source of the University of Tehran. So it came from Iran, and I didn't want to do any legal steps in that direction. So we closed that down. The server has been closed. Everything was fine, and I explained that, and nothing bad happened, despite the fact that some spam emails have been sent out. But this is,
Yeah.
I guess, 10 to 20 years ago already.
Yeah, back then those security practices were not well known, and everyone was running open telnet, telnet port, SMTP25 port email. So, but now in the modern age, the people and companies can protect themselves from themselves, and with some security rules. But still, the biggest risk in everything in cybersecurity is the human factor. So I think that Arup also was thinking, okay, yeah, maybe if I don't do this, I may be in trouble and I may lose the job.
Mm.
That's what I'm thinking. Why he went on, but yeah, it's kind of hard. And the phishing email, they are getting better and better, and it's hard to stop.
Especially with AI. And back to our
Yes.
case today, we're talking a lot about AI. Not
Yeah.
really AI, but what AI can do, right? Today, it's quite simple for AI to write a flawless email. So in the
Definitely.
past, it was quite difficult. Someone created an email, tried to translate it into the local language, but it was pretty simple to spot, right?
Yeah.
Because the language was awkward at best.
Yeah.
But
So
today, this does not happen anymore. By the way, if you are watching us on YouTube right now and on the live call, then you have the option to send us questions, comments, remarks, whatever you like to tell us during this call, and we can react to that.
yeah.
So,
And you can also leave those questions backwards in the video comments down below.
yeah.
So we can pick it up maybe in the next episode to recap if you have some questions. And we probably also thinking about some dedicated community where you can discuss the podcast, you can ask your questions, you can share your stories, and so we can digest them also in the future podcast episodes. So everything isn't working. We are still new here, so it needs some time, but we will get there. So for now, if you have some questions, leave them in the live chat or in the description below. And now, let's get back to the Arab story and what exactly happened when he clicked this email that he was also suspicious with. So, yeah, then basically he went on the meeting with the video conference with the CFO and several others Arab colleagues,
Yeah.
and they were all deepfakes. So he joined the call. The CFO was on screen, and people who he looked and sounded like real colleagues he knew. So this is something that is getting also better and better because those attackers, they always gather information about the target's colleagues, so it can so they can create it that is really them, legitimate persons. So, and many people don't even think what they are sharing on their social media, their photos, and with open source intelligence, anyone can find anything about the person if he's sharing public photos, locations, colleagues, mentions, because everything is on the internet. And those threat actors, they always first do their due diligence and they find all the all the all the points so they can fish the target successfully. Otherwise, they would not spend so much time. And this was high level target company.
Yeah. The point is that this employee didn't want to do those transactions he was asked in the email already. So he was careful enough to first join the call. So he joined the video call, and he reportedly felt more at ease after joining this call with individuals who looked and sounded like the CFO and several colleagues, which also were some executives, right?
Yeah.
So it's not just same level, most were higher level. And this is something that also, I think it was planned, because if you try to convince someone to do something, the same as in marketing, you need some sort of authority. And if you talk to the CFO, then there are not many people above that person. So if the CFO tells you to conduct a transaction, then there's literally almost no one you can ask to validate this.
Exactly. And this is really important. As I was mentioning today to you, that I was also in the bank today, and they always have two people verification check. So I wanted to update my email address. They put it in the system, and they need to call a colleague to verify that it is correct. And the same goes for every single information or transaction. Another person needs to verify and says, yes, it is okay, it is legit, you can continue. But still, the systems can fail, or even humans can fail. They can see that everything is fine, and if they don't check the ID by the UV light, like they did not check my ID if it's verified, right? If it's correct, if it's not fabricated. They know me, we are good friends in the bank, but they don't scan my ID. So, many things can fail in this process, even with two people verification process.
Yeah. Yeah. And in this case, we do not have just two people, we have a lot of people. So we have the CFO, including some executives. Do you know how many people were on that call?
Unfortunately, I don't. But it was more than two for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I know that. And yeah, this is also to get some reassurance that everything is fine. And we'll come back to that later. If everyone tells you all is good, then this should make you suspicious. And I will tell you why later on. So stick with us. So the only real person in this video call was this employee. So he was just sitting with other AI generated persons in a video call, and the AI tried to not the AI, but the people behind the AI tried to convince that employee to urgently and confidentially conduct transactions across different banks, different accounts, which all sum up to a total number of $25 million.
Yeah. And it was 5 bank accounts and 15 wire transfers.
Yeah.
Which is...
Keep that in mind. 5 banks and 15 wire transfers. Keep that in mind, because that will be important in the end. Well, you can't win anything. You can win you can win new knowledge, of course, but not real money here. But keep that in mind. 5 and 15.
And yeah, no out of band checks. So it's well, honestly, I'm feeling bad for this employee. What happened? But who is it to blame for this, André? Who is it to blame? You think that it is employee fault or the employer fault that they don't got like the regular cybersecurity training, regular phishing? What do you think?
It's a good question. That is usually something that many people do. Something goes severely wrong. So if you talk about 25 million, although we need to be fair, the company announced that they were not struggling because they paid this $25 million. So they seem to have enough money in the bank so that this doesn't get them near bankruptcy or anything like that. But anyway, 25 million is a lot of money. And I think nobody does this voluntarily. And if you think about the whole construct, then it is very, very hard to identify just a single person, even if there is only one single person who did everything, right? But I think there could have been more measures in this company to prevent it. So I think there is not a single person to blame.
And also, why does regular employee can do company wire transfers? There is the CFO for it, right? That would be, I think, the biggest trigger for me personally.
What do you mean?
Like this employee made those wire transfers because CFO told him on the call.
Yeah.
But isn't chief financial officer responsible for transactions or no?
That's a good question. That came to my mind first as well.
Okay.
I met a lot of CFOs in the past years, but I do not know a single CFO who knows precise account numbers and bank accounts across 5 different banks to tell anyone to transfer the money.
Yeah.
I never was in a situation where the CFO knew the account numbers. That's simply not his job.
Yes, that makes sense because usually those companies have their own accounting department, and usually those transactions are getting green checks from the accounting department.
Yeah. What the CFO usually would say is, we need to transfer money from our department in Singapore to our department in Shanghai, for instance. That's what he usually decides. But on what exact account the money currently is, he usually doesn't care, because that's not his job. His job is to take care about the finances as a whole, not the actual transactions. And since he's not responsible for each single transaction, he usually doesn't know the account number. So this is one thing to look out for. If the CFO tells you precise account numbers, then something seems to be wrong. So that should at least trigger an alarm.
It should. But we will never know what went in Arup's mind, how he was feeling, how they was, if got any family issues, etc. So we can only think, And do you also know or have idea how they created those deepfakes that sounds or looked very trusted for him?
I think so. I think it also has been reported.
Yeah.
And you just mentioned it. You can
briefly, yes.
Sorry?
Yes, I mentioned it briefly, but I was saying in general that the content you share on briefing.
I think you were just frozen, at least on my end.
Oh, okay. Yeah. In Arup's case, it was everything because he recorded everything, he shared everything online also. The town halls, the conference recordings, marketing videos, Zoom calls. So this data, those videos, the photos were trained to create those deepfakes.
Yeah. It has been taken from LinkedIn profile videos, conference recordings, virtual meeting footage, media appearances. Yep. And do you know how much time it takes, how much source material from a lengthy standpoint, how many seconds, minutes, or hours, do you need to train an AI on your voice?
It takes a couple minutes right now. You have online solutions where you can upload your voice snippets, you can record yourself, and then you have your voice cloned. In
Yeah.
2024, maybe it was in the baby pants, it was not so common. I'm not sure because I was not into it. But now in 2026, it is very easy. And also create your own video avatars that can be live and do whatever you want.
Yeah. For simple voices, it takes only 20 to 30 seconds.
Yeah.
So if you have, of course, it's not the same if you talk in a very boring way. If you usually do that, then this is sufficient. But if you have variety in your voice, then you usually need a bit more than 20 to 30 seconds. But that's roughly in the ballpark. So you don't need hourly length audio just to clone the voice.
Yeah.
So 20, 30 seconds, maybe a minute, 2 minutes is already sufficient. And I tried that. I tried it with my own podcast. I wanted my own podcast in German as well. So it's usually in English, but I was too lazy to record it twice, once in English, once in German. So I tried to translate it, train an AI on my voice, and then let it talk in my voice in German.
Yeah. And how
But I
did it
never
go?
did that. It was too tedious for me. But since I now know that, since I researched this case, I think about maybe I just throw in one of our sessions here and then let AI train my voice, and I can do it in German as well. Who knows?
And you can now even train the voice from the. When somebody calls you, you are not picking up, and there's the voicemail. If you record yourself longer than 5 seconds, they can train the voice just from this.
That's the reason why I don't have an answering machine anymore.
Yeah.
No, not really. I
Those were,
just don't listen to it. That's the
yeah,
main reason.
because you can be tried to fish or even in the voicemail or something. So
Yeah.
take that in mind. And well, what do you think? How this could be prevented? Like some company rules, like the callback rule. Any wire about threshold require a phone call, or what kind of measures would probably stop this phishing attack?
That's a good question. I don't think that we can define good measures for any case, because there might be a different case where these measures don't fit. And in those cases, many people tell me, oh, well, you have to listen to your gut feeling, or like act like common sense or something like that.
Yeah.
But I think that's also not quite correct. So my recommendation each time is first think. That sounds easier than it is. But there are some things, I already mentioned them. So if the CFO knows 15 account numbers precisely,
Yeah.
then this should trigger an alarm. It should
It should,
trigger
yeah.
an alert in your mind, right? Another thing, which I tell my clients constantly, is if everyone is thinking the same, nobody, at least one person is not thinking at all. And in this case, everyone, the executives and the CFO, all consented. Yes, we want to do this. Yes, that it needs to be urgently done. And yes, it needs to be confidential. So if all this happens together at the same time, that should also trigger an alarm in your mind.
Definitely. It should. But I think there's one thing the company could do better to even prevent this email to come through. and because there's most likely chance that the email Arup received was from some employee who got phished and the session cookie stolen. And this could be this could be probably prevented by adding a phish-resistant like MFA devices, like hardware token, YubiKeys, and those kind of things, because those are phish-resistant, right?
But you receive an email. So for some weird reason, this email has not been caught by the spam filter or the phishing filter.
Because it was sent from internal, some employee, right?
We don't know.
We don't know. We can only suggest, but there's a high chance it was sent from somebody inside of the company.
But we don't know.
Let's say if it was sent from the internal company, would you think that those protections globally applied to all users will prevent this?
That's a totally different story. If you have a rogue employee in your company, then you have totally different problems than if a phishing mail just slips through the phishing and spam filters.
That's true. That's true indeed.
Yeah, but if it comes from external, I think the best thing you can do is marking emails as external. And if the CFO sends you an email or an executive sends you an email from external, even if they are on the go, they usually have their company devices where we send emails from. And then they are still from internal because they are sent via internal servers. They would be recognized as internal emails. I think this is one of the best options you can use. And many email systems usually do this. So I'm not with Microsoft anymore. I think Google does this as well. I use Zoho. They do that also.
Yeah.
In my case, it doesn't make sense because everyone sends email from outside. But if I had a lot of employees, it would work.
Yeah.
And this company has, we didn't say that in the beginning, this company, Arup, strange name,
Yes, Arup.
has 18,000 employees. So that's a lot.
Poor system administrators. I don't want to be in his shoes managing 18,000 accounts on Microsoft or somewhere. That would be crazy.
Yeah. But there's another thing that you can keep in mind. Have you ever used booking.com or looking for a room or an apartment, something like that?
Yes, I do.
Everyone did that, right? And if you go to booking.com and you can pick any room there, booking.com will tell you there are 321 people looking precisely at this room right now. And this causes pressure, right? That's a marketing technique. That's the reason why booking.com uses it. We don't know if there are really 321 people looking at it, but it tells us that this is the case and we feel the pressure.
Yeah.
And the same happened in this case as well, because it was told to the employee that this needs to be happen quickly for whatever reason. And this should make you suspicious as well. Yep. So if you transfer 25 million, and it doesn't matter which company you're on, if you're a solo company, 25 million would be a lot. Or if you one of the big players like this example, if you transfer $25 million, even if it's in smaller chunks, then you should be skeptical. And
definitely.
And you should reassure that this truly should happen. What I would have done in this case, I would just summarize the email and send it to all the participants after the call and just ask whether I am right and I understood everything correctly. Many people are afraid of asking that, especially if they ask the CFO. But if I come into a company, my main job is to be the dumbest person. because nobody wants to do that. That's the reason why people hire me. So I get into meetings and I ask all the dumb questions, all the questions many people would like to ask, but nobody dares to ask. And if you do that as an employee and ask, and just summarize that, you don't need to be dumb, but you just need to summarize everything and then ask, this is what I got from our last meeting. Is that okay? Just summarize that in a couple of sentences so that even the CFO or the executives can quickly realize what's going on there. And then send that out before conducting any transaction.
Yeah. Maybe nowadays it is the technique, but in 2024, I'm not sure 2 years ago, because the deepfakes, I think, was just on the rise. It was not very well known, right?
Yeah, but there are always new things.
Yeah,
Everything looks new.
yeah,
So
it does, but
if we talk about AI, I just talked about AI this morning to someone, and he told me, well, I created my new website completely with AI. And I said, oh, great, show me. And he showed me the current example. And I said, well, yeah, it looks like built by AI.
yeah,
In the beginning, if he would have been the first one who created a website just purely with AI, I would have said, that looks stunning. That looks great, awesome. But okay, I'm in this tech business anyway, so I see a lot of AI generated websites, and they all look the same. They all use the same fonts, the same colors, the same kind of websites, the same animations.
because they were trained on the data set, so that's why everything looks so similar.
Yeah. But if something comes up new, like the deepfakes in this case, it is quite tricky to really see whether the CFO is a real person or not. But what you can do is ask the CFO to turn the head.
Yeah,
See,
yeah,
I'm
I
real.
saw that, yes.
I'm real. And I can hold a pen.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
This works as well. If you ask the AI to do that, then something might look awkward. And if you realize that, then you know that you have been scammed.
Definitely. And the human factor, that he was pressured, he was stressed, or something happened. That's all checked up, and it can all go towards the successful scam.
But that's a different story.
But
Everyone is stressed.
yeah,
That's just an exploitation. Everyone is
But-
stressed. We should not be stressed. And I know what
But
I'm
I
talking
think-
about.
yeah, but I think that the technology made this attack possible. And process could be what stops it. And you cannot patch the brain. You just can patch the workflow, right?
Yeah. But I think that is a problem, especially with AI. We must not ask for more regulation. We must not ask for more rules. I made a podcast episode last year. I think it's about stop making more rules. It was about bureaucracy. In Germany, we try to fight bureaucracy with new rules.
Yeah,
It's insane because it just creates more bureaucracy, not less.
definitely.
And if we need to deal with new things that emerge faster and faster, like with AI, if you think about what ChatGPT did in the beginning and what Claude can do today, that's a difference like day and night. And we don't know what's coming next and when it's coming next. And I think more rules don't make sense here. The only thing that helps us figure this out is think. And thinking means also talking to each other. Think about how you feel about that. What do you think about a certain situation? And then ask someone else. But you must not ask someone else on the same call. So if on that call, someone tells you, transfer $25 million, and you ask on the same call, are you sure I should do this? Is it really true? And then of course you will get the update. Yes, it is true. Don't ask again, just do it now. This does not work. That's the same as the two-factor authentication. You don't do that with the same system. You use two systems. Like with camera, what I just said, turn your head.
Yeah.
No, nobody does that usually. But if you ask them, it's simple. Hold up your pen.
That's like the human verification layer.
Yeah.
But imagine you are on the job interview and you ask your interview, hey, move your head to the left, you know? You know what I mean? That could be a really funny moment that the person could not get hired for it.
Well,
or
you can
or maybe he can get good promotion because he verified and they know.
Or
right?
you can get creative. So if I ask you, hey, what's that on? That's on the sideboard behind you.
Yeah.
What is that?
I don't know anything. I cannot see.
But are you real?
Of course I am real.
So if you now turn your head behind you to see what is on the image on the wall, or what's on the side on the sideboard, and then you need to move your head, and then you can see, okay, this is this seems to be real.
Yeah. And yeah, this is like the human verification checks. So this is really important. If you are not sure who are you speaking with or who is on the video call, it might not be for every call, but only when your spider senses are of tingling. So you need to verify this human, because those kind of tasks AI still cannot do.
Yeah. But in the beginning, you said the audience can also learn something for their private life.
Yes.
Right? I have an idea. If you, it might sound weird now, if you define a secure word or a safe word or something like that. My bank did it with me. I have an account with Wise. And Wise told me, hey, you need to tell us a secret word, a safe word, which we put on all our communication to you. And I was thinking, at the time, I didn't know that. And I was thinking it's a password. So I created a password. Now they put that password on every single email. And I stick with that because that reminds me, okay, this is the safe word. This email really comes from Wise. But you can define such words as well in your family or in your organization. And if critical things happen, then ask for this single word. And if the other person doesn't know that word, then it's quite unlikely that this is the person you think it is.
Yeah. And this is actually the what's your move for this podcast. What's your move? And this week we have like to set up a verification word. Like André said, pick your word for your family, share it, and if somebody call asking for money, asking for help, always verify with this word. And also for your finance team, same idea. You can just scale it up, right? And this is really important. It costs you nothing, takes a couple minutes, and it would probably stop this attack, right?
Yeah. With finance teams, I always ask myself, does this really work in practice? So you need to define a workflow, or you need to update your SOPs. That is something that needs to be trained in an organization. In a family, it's quite simple. In an organization with numerous people, you need some sort of documentation, workflows. Maybe you can support it technically, that this needs to be done. Someone needs to enter these words. Yeah, could be. And always be skeptical. Always Always be skeptical if the CFO knows 15 account numbers by heart. This is that bugs me the most. If that happens across different banks, then something seems to be off here.
5 banks and 15 wire transfers, totaling $24 million.
And always keep in mind, if everyone thinks the same, at least one is not thinking at all.
That's true.
That's a so-called 10th man doctrine.
I never heard of it, actually.
Have you seen World War Z?
Who?
World War Z?
Oh, yes, I saw it. Yeah.
Yep, they mentioned the 10th man doctrine. And that came from, it's made up by Hollywood, of course. But basically, it happened similarly to that. So that means if you are the 10th man in a committee, in a group, and 9 people are agreeing all on the same thing, then it's your job to question whether they are right or to prove them wrong, just to find out if there are any inconsistencies.
So, in technical speaking, this is called zero trust. You never trust, you always verify, no matter what.
Yeah, that's right.
So, maybe Hollywood came up with zero trust principles, who knows, because the zero trust, the term, was not known, I think, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
It's
too.
Relatively new, the zero trust principles. And I live by zero trust principles, but there's one person I have to trust, and that's my wife, but
That's usually totally fine.
That's fine. Yeah, but if she asks for money and this kind of hey,
as long it's not 25 million.
If I have them, take it. But unfortunately, I don't. So, but in my business side, I never trust anything. I don't even trust my systems because systems can fail. And 2 days ago, with this local privilege escalation on all servers, anyone hacked to the WordPress website, SSH into it as a local user, one script, one click, and he becomes root. And so, especially now with the age of AI and rapid growth, as it gets wiser and wiser, maybe ChatGPT 5.5 now is getting dumber because all it knows is gremlins and goblins. I don't know if you read the news.
Maybe it's just taken from the results from AI itself.
Yeah, exactly. And now they address people like gremlins and goblins. It's funny. They also need to. It's.
I think it's not the last time we heard of AI during this podcast.
Of course not, because something can happen tomorrow and it can be really good topic. So, some key takeaways from this episode. So, I would go from the system standpoint, operational standpoint, like always, set up some multi-factor authentication for your company, for your business, even for yourself, because even if you are single in your company, you can also become a target, right? So always verify yourself. If you can, don't use passwords because passwords can be leaked, and don't use 2FA like email-based authentication, phone numbers, etc. because those can be guttered. Always use phishing-resistant methods like passkeys, even if you're Bitwarden, Apple keychain, or hardware key like YubiKey. It is easy to set up, and this will protect you most of the time because it is phishing resistance. And second, what you can protect yourself is to have those email communication the secure as you can, because email is not by default a secure way of communication. Never share your passwords, never share your credentials via email, and don't post your photos that you don't want to be used against you. Don't post photos where anyone can locate you where you are working. I know this is kind of hard, but those kind of things can protect you. So those attackers cannot get information details on you, your family, your employees, etc.
Yeah.
And do you have some additionals?
Yes.
As a human
Always
suggest?
think before you act.
Yeah.
That's
Think
it.
twice.
Yeah. As long as you think.
Funny thing, this is also what I said when I was training that company. Always think, always verify. And it came really nice because a couple months ago I was asking my customer for 2FA code to log into his console, right? And asking to WhatsApp, and he said, I'm not going to give it to you because I don't know, so I have to call him to verify me, which was pleasantly surprise for me. So they actually learned this. And I was surprised, seriously. I did not expect this. I thought he just gave me the 2FA code and he told this, so I need to call him on the video call on the WhatsApp. But yeah, it was me.
Great. So I hope everyone learned something at least today. And if you have questions after that, then just let us know. Drop us a line on email or on YouTube or LinkedIn. Everything is linked together. You will reach us.
Okay. And don't forget, set up your passphrase with your family and your colleagues on the right departments. So this is the key takeaway. What you can do right now to protect yourself and your loved ones.
Don't tell us the word, but tell us how it went.
Yeah, how it went. So thank you for watching and listening. And yeah, from me, that's all. And in 2 weeks, we will have another amazing topic to discuss.
Yeah.
So thank you also, André, for coming. And we will
Thank
see
you.
you in the
See you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.